Hello, Bold family. My name is Dennis Russell, MAPS Bold Coach, and I have an incredibly special guest with me today. This guy has just done some phenomenal things in Bold, and I'm going to let him tell you all about him. So, Bold family, Bold community, I'm going to introduce you to Mr. John Gale. John, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then tell us about your Bold story.
Hey, yeah, thank you for having me on here. Yes, so I've been in real estate since 2004, and I've been a broker since 2007. And we joined, my wife and I, Teresa, joined Keller Williams, the East Cobb office. We joined 2 years ago, and I decided to take the Bold class. It was the Cappers Bold in Woodstock office, January of 2020. And I was kind of reluctant at first, but the first day, Dennis sold me on the program, and it was all about mindset, and I needed a mindset change, and it was amazing. I signed up right there, and I told myself I got to do this 100%, and that's what I did. And I followed everything that he talked about. And the first day, they talked about DTD2, D2, DT. Anyway, it's
Yep.
calling all your contacts without call bias. And the first few on there, I started with the A's, and I just said, oh, I don't this guy, I don't think he wants to sell anything, blah blah blah. So anyway, I call him and he said, actually, I have a portfolio of properties, like 300 properties or so. I'd love for you to sell. And so I got excited. I've dealt with this kind of stuff before. I worked with a lot of investors. So what I did, I called a couple other contacts and put the two parties together, and during Bold was able to secure a listing and a contract for 284 properties.
Okay, so hold on a minute. Hold on a minute, John, because I know people didn't really hear that. They were like, oh, yeah, whatever, too. You need to say that one more time, and you need to talk about, how you had to overcome that call bias, because I don't think most people realize the power that the magic that can happen when you actually follow a system like DTD2, which is do the database too. So just say that part one more time so it can really sink in.
So yeah, I just did what y'all were talking about, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna do it 100%. I just started calling everybody in my contacts, starting with the A's. And it happened that this particular investor seller was in my A's, and I called him, and he said, hey, good to hear from you. It had been about a year. And he said, we're actually ready to sell 300
Your dog's
properties.
all excited, man. That's impressive. The dog's excited hearing the story, just like the rest of
us. And so anyway, they needed to sell like 300 properties at a time, and I thought, okay, I'm the guy to help. And I've worked with investors in the past, so I was used to the lingo. And I put together another contact I had with them, and had a few calls, and everybody looked at the properties, and it ended up being 284 properties that we ended up putting under contract, and that was all during Bold. So I was able to count it on my team. So that was awesome. And yeah, and then of course the rest is history. I had a few other deals during Bold as well, and it was just a huge kickoff to 2020 for us.
So since that was a huge kickoff, tell me about the rest of 2020. Like, what did that do for you and your business and your wife's business? I mean, what happened? Did you get any awards? Anything else happen? Tell me a little more about that.
So we have become the top team in our office. We're a two-person team, so we're considered a team. So we're the top team in our office, which before we weren't even in the top 20%. So Bold is definitely a huge reason for that. We also signed up for coaching as well, and that is a big reason also. And right when COVID hit, we both obviously have young kids, and we're both working, and we just decided, okay, we still need to lead gen, we still need to do what Bold talks about, and be tight with our schedule and make sure we're intentional with our kids and everything. And because of that decision, and obviously following through with it, we're having our best year ever. So And that
Wow.
deal ended up closing. The portfolio, it dwindled down to 212 properties just because of COVID hit, and the deal kind of fell apart. Then it came back together, but I kept on nurturing them and kept the deal together, and it closed in October, 212 properties. And then
Wow.
we've also had, outside of that, 40 transactions as well. So it's been an incredible year. So
That's amazing. You know what, John? I love this story, and I want to hear a little more about that perseverance. When COVID hit, how it went from 287 and it fell apart, and you pulled it back together. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because I don't think most people realize that they hear a story like this and they say, "Oh, he was just lucky." Well, it's kind of what we always say: success is luck when opportunity and preparedness meet. That's what luck is in success. It's not just doesn't happen. So if you could tell us a little more about when it started to fall apart, what did you do to keep it together?
just staying in touch with them, and I just kept calling and staying in touch, and they said, you know what, let's take a 1 or 2 month break. And I just remember from the mindset class, like, hey, move to the next client, because there's plenty of business to go around, and don't get into the worry, and just stay with the action. And I just kept all those things in my head. And my wife, she's very positive as well, so we really were helping each other during that time. Hey, even if this deal doesn't come back around, we have a plan, and if we stick to what Bold talks about, we can still do great. And so we kept our nose to the grindstone, kept calling, kept making our calls and our contacts, and just kept doing the lead generating activities that we needed to do. And then after a month or two, the deal came back, and it was like a bonus on top of what we were already doing. So it was a blessing.
Well, you know what else was really great about what you said? Having a partner, having your wife as your partner, and making sure that the two of you are in sync. I love that. And but by being able to bounce ideas off each other, her able to keep you up, you able to keep her up and all that. So I love how that worked. All right. So you were saying that you kept the plan going. You didn't get into victimhood when it looked like this huge deal could possibly fall apart. Tell us a little bit more about that, because I know the people out there are going to really want to know about that.
So yeah, we just have a very simple plan. I made a goal based on Bold also, make 20 contacts a day. And if I, slip on that, I have to make it up the next day. So basically I just divide it, 5 days a week, 100 contacts a week. And if I make my contacts, business will come. And they have to be, intentional contacts, and we have to talk about real estate, and only 50% of them can be texts. And so I stuck to that. And just that simple thing right there. And then obviously lead nurture and doing a good job, because that's a huge part of success, is actually doing a good job for your clients. Because if you don't do that, they're not going to keep giving you repeat business. So we did that as well. So it's just, service our clients, and then lead gen, and keep it simple, 20 contacts a day. And my wife had 10 contacts a day. So we scheduled it to where I had 2 hours of lead gen, she had 1 hour. And that was our job, lead gen. And then the rest, we started leveraging contract to close. That was a huge help as well. So.
Oh, well, I'm going to ask you about that. How was that a huge help? How did that benefit you, leveraging that contact to close portion? The contract to close?
So just having certain goals in mind, we just, every time we put something under contract, you hand it off to contract to close, and I don't have to think about it anymore. I can focus on what my job is lead generating, new business. That is my role, the two of us mainly. And so with that off my plate, because I have the broker mentality, I was always wanting to micromanage every deal and make sure it closes. But if someone else can do that and take that off our plate, we can focus more on getting those 20, 30 contacts a day. It really helped.
Yeah, that's one of the things we always talk about, making sure you get that transaction coordinator as soon as you can, because it takes that part, and you've said it beautifully, it takes that part of your business off of you, and that way you can focus on the most dollar productive activities, which you've painted beautifully, and that is lead generation. I love that. All right. So in closing, what would you like to say to everybody? Any advice you'd like to give them so they can, become the next John Gale and have a year like you and your wife had next year?
Gosh, I would just say, just stay out of the negativity, and just focus on what's important is making your contacts, making your thankful calls. Just love on your people. That was a huge thing that Dennis taught me in Bold is loving on your people. And then also my big aha during Bold, and I think everybody should have this, is try to work with people that want to work with you. Like, I don't, forever I've been trying to push people that don't want to work with me to work with us, and it just created more stress. So now we focus on people that want to work with us. It seems so simple, but it just makes the most sense.
Well, that is so true. And you know what? What's so great about this conversation is that we're always talking about, there's enough business out there for everybody. Even now when people are saying, oh, there's no business, there's still enough business for everybody. And
Yes.
you hit it right on the head. And that is, work with people who are motivated, work with people
Yes.
who really want to sell their properties. You don't have to push people. There are enough people out there. If you make the calls like you did, you will come across the people. And, if you continually make the calls and do it as diligently as you and your wife did, I mean, from time to time, you'll hit home runs. Sometimes you'll hit a bunch of singles and a bunch of doubles. Guess what? You hit enough singles, they still score runs.
Yeah.
So you just keep swinging, you keep getting the hits, and you'll score runs. So John, I want to say thank you so much. I know everybody on here is going to get tremendous value from this. And I encourage you guys to, watch this again. Now, John, before we leave, I do want you to say this. You kind of hit it on a little bit, just in case people have any, referral partners and referral business in your area. Can you tell them where you're from again and how they can contact you?
So yeah, we are located in Marietta, Georgia, which is just north of Atlanta. The office is East Cobb, Atlanta East Cobb office. And my name is John Gale, and my email is John, John, Gale, Gale @kw.com.
All right. So, if you have anybody in the Atlanta area, were you going to say something else?
That's it.
Okay. Hey, if you have anybody in the Atlanta area, Marietta, you know where to send them. John, I want to say thank you so much for this incredible story of, closing 200 houses from making one call. That is absolutely amazing. So everybody, thank you guys so much. And once again, John, thank you.
Thank you.